Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from GED Math Tutoring. Hopefully you guys are having a lovely day. So right now what I do is I basically take a lot of the math concepts that you generally see in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, as well as your GED, your ASVAB, your ACCUPLACER, your TEAS test, your HESI test, anything that has to deal with algebra. And what I do is I just break down some of these concepts step by step. And then while you interact is if you think you know what the answer is, go ahead and put it in the comments. And then I just go over the answer to help build up your confidence with math. So the goal is by the end of this, you should feel somewhat confident going from, oh, I hate math to, yeah, meh. Okay, that's the goal for today. But if you go past that meh sound, hey, everything is all great and gravy. So let's take a look at our first concept. So what we're going to do, just like I did yesterday, I'm really going to focus on factoring because those are definitely 4-point questions on the GED. There are higher advanced classes that a lot of people generally miss on the ASVAB as well as the ACCUPLACER. So for this one, it says, what is the greatest common factor, the GCF, just in case you ever hear me say it, of 24a squared b cubed and 16a cubed b squared? Is your answer A, B, C, or D? Okay, is this for the GED? Yes, it is. As I said, it's one of those 4-point questions. Okay, so I have XBA saying C, Kennedy is saying A, CG with the A, Ellis is saying C, not Connor, wondering who you are if you're not Connor, is saying A. Okay, Els goes fast, or is that Eli? Not sure if that's an I or E. It's saying A. Okay, saying A, Julius is saying A. Okay, a couple people are sharing the lives. Thank you, Lay. Appreciate that. Okay, so as you guys are coming in, let's see what you know. Okay. Hey, Jenny. Her favorite is the A. All right. So we got Harry with our A. Okay, Alicia is sharing the following. There you go, T. Okay, we don't even have an option T, so that'll be lovely. Plus, get over it. It's so played out. Because once adults do it, you know it's played out. EJ is with the A. Is that Kula? Kula is saying with A. Rolla with D. VX, all of that. Okay, saying B. Well, let's take a look. So, greatest common factor. So that means we need to know what the factors of each right now for the 24 and for the 16. So, if you ever have parts of my little handy dandy, everybody's like, whoa, what's this coming from? Okay, so I have this little factor sheet that I basically created, and we're taking a look at our factors of 24. So factors of 24 is 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. So then we need the factors of 16. So 16, we have 1 and 6, 2 and 8, and 4. So what is the greatest number that they both have in common? So I know for sure they both have 1s, but that's not the greatest. Okay, they both have 2s, but they both have 8s. So 8 is going to be your greatest common for 16 and for 24. So knowing that it's going to be 8, that means we can eliminate B and we can eliminate D. Okay, it's got to be something that they both have in common. So now we're going to look at their variables. So we have A squared. Okay, so A squared, that means that's A times A. Then we have A cubed. That's A times A times A. So we want to know how many variables they have in common. So if I were to group them, because since there's 2 of the variables, how many groups of 2s that we have? We have 2 of them. So that will give me what they have in common is A squared. So as I mentioned, When you're looking at GCFs like this, always, if they both have the same base, which is the A's, always take the one with the lowest exponent. That is your give and go each and every time, okay? That's an easy 2-point score for a layup. Hey, March Madness is around the corner, so this is what we do. All right, so we have A squared. So knowing that bits have B's, they have a B cubed and a B squared. So that means my lowest exponent will be B squared. So we bring down our A, we have our A squared, we have our B squared, so that means our option is going to be A. All right, as we're breaking it on down. All right, so for those that said A, awesome. For those that said others, do you see what happened? Okay, yeah, A and C are very close, but the major difference was their exponents. So now, let's take a look at another one, because I'm warming you up, doing a little bit of a warm-up, okay? So again, we're going to factor the following expressions completely using the GCF. So we have 9x to the fourth minus 18 cubed plus 27x squared, okay? So we need to factor it completely using, and I even give you the hint, using the GCF. So is your answer choice A, B, C, or D? Okay. So we got Rudy saying D, Justin, we're saying B. Okay, user 27 saying B. Bristoff saying D. Chris is saying B. Ellis B. Danny B. Dilly D. Chris B. Okay, Temp with B. Matthew A. To learn this. Okay, so it's fine. You have no idea. Thank you for your honesty. Appreciate it. So I'm going to try to break it down. So we have some B's, we have some B's, we have another Jenny, okay? Jenny in LA. All right, so she has my C. Don't worry, Jenny, I'm not going to do it. Only you get that one. No, just kidding. Joey's saying B, Peace with B, Potion with C. Thank you, chat. Who's that, Chassie? They're cooking in there. Dilly, it's not B. God's Child, hello. Welcome back, saying C. Joe with the B. Okay, so we got Peace with a B. All right, thank you, user 98, for sharing the live. Appreciate that. Okay, so I'm getting a mixture here. So I can understand if I'm getting a consistent answer throughout the whole entire, but I'm getting some B's, a little sprinkles of C's, and then once in a while, a D will pop up here and there. Okay, not a problem, Jimmy. Hey, it's okay. So this is what we're going to do. First off, let's take a look at what's called the coefficients. What is in front of the variables, the numbers that's in front of the variables? Not so much their signs right now, just their numbers, okay? So we have 9, we have 18, we have 27. So we want to get the greatest common factor. So if we think of factors of 9, I'm going to break it on down. We think of factors of 9. I know I can get a 9 using the 1 times table. I know I can get it from the 3s, and also I can get it from the 9s. So I know I see 18. Okay, so I definitely see 18 in 1s, 2s, 3s, 6s, 9s, obviously. Okay, and then our 18. All right. Then we look at our 27s. Okay. So I know a lot of people will just say, Audrey, just divide by 3. Well, if you divide by 3, did you fully pull out the greatest common factor? Right? So with the 27, you have your 1, you have your 3, you have your 9, and you have your 27. So, yes, they have 1s in common. Yes, they have 3s in common. But is that the greatest common factor? No, it's going to be 9. I know my circles are terrible, but here we are. Okay, so my greatest common factor for just the numbers, just the coefficients, we got a 9. So knowing that, we're getting rid of C. Okay, because if you look at C, if you look at what's inside the parenthesis, we have 3, 6, and 9. That means those are divisible by 3 again. So you would have to factor twice. Okay, I don't like to do that. I'm lazy. So now take a look. There's x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, x squared. So all 3 terms have x's. And what is my lowest exponent? It's going to be x squared. So if they all 3 terms have the same variable, you always go with the one with the lowest exponent. Okay, because if you're not sure, let me put it over here. The first term I have 4 x's. Then I had 3 x's. Then I have 2 x's. So how many groups of x's do I have in common? I have 2 of them, hence the x squared. So knowing that piece, go back to your answers. What are we canceling out? We're canceling out D because they didn't factor out the x's. We're canceling out A because they didn't take in consideration the exponents. So your answer is B, because it has the correct GCF, which is 9x squared. Okay. All right. Is this algebra? Yes, it is. Okay. How are we feeling now? Okay. So for those that said like D's or C's or A's, do we see what happened? I did poorly in math in school. That's all right. See, you guys got to understand. Okay, it's already finished. It's right here. Okay, so you want to know what goes inside the parenthesis? All right. So anytime you want to know what's inside the parenthesis, you're basically taking your GCF and you're dividing it by everything. Okay. So you divide the coefficients, so this will be a 1, this will be a -2, and this will be a +3. And you subtract the exponents. 4 minus 2, that gives me x squared. 3 minus 2 gives me 1x, or just x. And x squared divided by x squared gives me 1. So that will be your answer. Okay. All right, there you go. Of course, math in the U.S. is so bad. You're damn right it is. You're damn right it is. Welcome. That's why I'm able to get over 40,000 followers plus and still rising each and every day. That's why I'm able to leave the classroom and have my own online tutoring business. This is how I grow. Okay? Because here's my thing. People leave, or probably people had to leave school because of certain situations. We have some people that may have to leave because they had to take care of their younger siblings. Okay, some people, maybe a tragedy happened that they had to stop going to school. So now people are trying to go back to school and they haven't seen this since they were a fetus. So that's why I try to come on in here and to give you encouragement. Okay, now here's the sad part. I'm seeing kids, because I do tutoring, I still see kids, male, female, throughout the U.S., okay, that are struggling with their multiplication facts and their juniors and seniors in high school. But yet they're on track to graduate, or they currently have an A in the class. So this week's has been very busy for Ms. Audrey. Ms. Audrey has been talking to a lot of teachers and calling out BS to a lot of people. So my nerve is like this. This is what they're doing. And some of them, one teacher asked, he's like, "Are you the parent or the tutor?" And I'm like, "I'm both. Why aren't you doing your job? What's going on?" And not all teachers. Some of them are awesome. But here we are. Okay? This is what I gotta do. I gotta fight. If I don't do the fight, who's going to do the fight? Okay, I'm just trying to do my part. God spoke to me, that's what I got to do. So here we go in number 18. This is a little bit different, okay? This is going to be called factor by grouping. And some of you guys probably are putting up the numbers. I'm seeing some B's. Okay, do I offer tutoring? Yes, Astro. I charge $87 an hour. And I'm worth every dime, and I should be increasing it by next year. Okay? This live is your anxiety. Well, Becca, it's not your anxiety because you haven't been on the live all the way. So now, factoring by grouping. I introduced it a little bit yesterday, but I want to introduce it again. Anytime you're given 4 terms, what you're going to do is you're going to group them. Okay, so let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put the answer choices kind of like off to the side a bit. So what I do is I'm going to group. Okay, so I'm going to group them in by 2 terms. Now, we started off with finding the GCF. What we're going to do is we're going to carry that process again when we're doing grouping. So I'm going to cover up the last 2 terms so we can focus on the first 2 terms. So what I want us to do is to find the GCF of this parenthesis. So we have 5, we have 10. What number does 5 and 10 have in common? Please put that into the chat. Okay. Okay, Neville, thank you. Appreciate that. Man beater. Okay. All right, so we got 2's, but remember, it has to be a factor of 5 and a factor of 10. So it can't be 2 because there is no 2's. You can't find a 5 in the 2 times table, okay? So it is going to be 5's. There we go. Thank you, babies. Appreciate you. So I'm going to factor out this 5. Now, inside the parentheses, looking at the x's. This is an x cubed. This is an x squared. So remember what I said earlier. That means I can factor out an x because both of them have an x. But what would be the exponent? Put that in the chat. Okay, what would be the exponent if I'm factoring out x cubed and x squared? What we got? Yes, we got the 2's, we got the 2's. Hey, Big G Money, how are you? Okay, Jenny, got you. Good, good, excellent. All right, always shoot for the lowest exponent. All right, so now that's your GCF. Okay, that's your GCF. And what I want you to do is I want you to divide each of these 2 factors by that GCF. So we got our 5x squared and we have our 5x squared. So I'm going to move this. I'm going to move it down a little bit just to give us some room. So my GCF is 5x squared. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide the original by that GCF to figure out what should go inside this parenthesis. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, what you're doing the distributive property in reverse. Okay, it's almost like Jeopardy. Your answer is a question, right? So there we go. Good, Mel. Good. TYA, Ma. Good, good. Thanks for the follow. Thank you, Alfredo. That sounds good. No, I'm not going to have that time. Okay, Onyx, good. My, good. Nice, nice. Excellent. Starboard, good job. Baby J, love it. Okay, 5 divided by 5 gives me 1. Okay, now we have x cubed divided by x squared. When you're dividing, you're subtracting the exponents. So 3 minus 2, that means there's 1x left over. Bring down my minus. 10 divided by 5, that gives me 2. And then we have x squared divided by x squared. If anything divided by itself will cancel out. So that means the breakdown of that first parenthesis is going to be 5x squared times x minus 2. So now we're going to talk about the second parenthesis. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about the second parenthesis. So now, taking a look, the first term is going to be positive. So anytime you see this signage, that sign is going to come straight on down. And I'm going to use a different color so you can see it better. So now we need to think, what number does 3 and 6 have in common? Right now, I'm not messing around with the minus sign. I'm just talking about the 3 and the 6. What do they have in common? Good. Lisa, good. User, good. Man, Peter, good. There you go. Sugar Plum, how are you? Marisol, good. Welcome back, Marisol. Good. Jakesy, good. I am good. Jenny, yes. Gang Boy, yes. Good. Oh, wait, Gang Boy, not the 2. It's going to give me the 2. Okay, what number that 3 and 6 have in common? They have a 3. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this positive 3 and I'm going to divide it by my original parenthesis. Okay, so Gang Boy, this is what you see. So what happens is 3x divided by 3, that will simply give me x or 1x. Then we have our minus sign. 6 divided by 3, this is what you saw, Gang Boy, which is my 2. Okay. All right, good, Marisol, good. All right. Are we okay so far? Yes. But it's common with 3 and 6. Yes. What is that, Brainy? Yes. Okay, awesome. Now, let me cover this part up. Okay, see how much easier it is when you just have a main focus. What do you notice? Just with this line, what do you notice? Okay, your wheels are turning, good. All right, yes, okay. So yes, we do have a common factor. There you go, Sugar Plum, there we go. Yes, those parentheses, or some people like to say the brackets, they're exactly the same. Now, when you're factoring by grouping, that's what you're looking for. If you notice that one bracket could be the same, but the signs are different, that means you might want to pull out a negative. Okay, sometimes just little tricks like that, because we want those two parentheses to be exactly the same. Now, when they are exactly the same, that is going to be your GCF of the new line. So if I factor out the x minus 2's, they're gone up here. But to get the other parentheses, so if once you get this, you can take a look at your answer choices to see which one's going to be your answer. Once you get one of them. So I'm looking to see, all right, which one has x minus 2? Right now, that B has x minus 2. So we could have B as my answer. Now, if you're doing the GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, remember, all these exams are timed. So when you see a part and you see it in your answer, click it, bubble it, circle it, move on to the next one, okay? But if you're currently in the classroom, we need to finish this out. And all we have to do is just take what's left over. Once we cancel out those x minus 2's, what's left is my 5x squared and that plus 3. Okay? They can be switched around because multiplication is commutative. So we got that. So our answer is going to be B. Okay, let me take this away. Let me shrink a little bit. Because I know there's some people that are like, can I see the whole problem? Okay. All right. Now, do I do tutoring? Yes, I do. My fee is $87 an hour. Yes, and I am deserving of each and every single solitary cent of it. Okay. All right. I tried to break all those down. Yes. Okay. How can you sign up? You can just message me and then I'll get in touch with you. Even though we may or may not be TikTok friends, but I always look at my requests. I tried to look at it every evening. So tonight is not as busy. All right. So I don't want to play too many games like go ahead, hurry up and tap. Let's get like 10,000 taps and all that, because I do have someone in the next few minutes. But I definitely want to get this in. I want to do one more with the grouping. If I can fit 2 in, that will be fabulous. Okay, so let me use this one. And it seems to me like a lot of people are doing some factoring problems, so I might as well just let me jump on in and see to help you guys out. And especially if you're thinking about going into college algebra, definitely take the class, but I'm going to tell you that class is going to move fast. Okay, it's not necessarily designed for people that haven't been in school for a hot minute and they're going to take things step by step like you used to see when you were in high school. You're spending like maybe a day. And when I say a day, it's literally like an hour and a half on one concept. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right. All right. So let's break this down. So factor by grouping. Okay, factor by grouping. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Anytime you have 4 terms being separated by either addition or subtraction, okay, that's how you know you're doing it by grouping. Because sometimes they just put the word factor, okay, especially for ASVAB. You will have like 1 minute to answer each question. That's all they're giving you, okay? All right. So I got a couple people with B's, a couple people with B's. All right. Okay, I vape for fun. All right. Okay. Hail Anastasia is saying B. Okay. Foil or no. We're not going to foil. Okay. Factoring is the reverse of foiling. Okay. Foil is when you're actually doing the multiplying. That's the distributive property. And then that's with like 2 binomials. True. Okay. You're thinking A. Okay. Sugar plum with the B. Pesos. Oh, thanks for love. Okay, what's FOIL? That's when you have to multiply polynomials. I have to show you guys that later. Okay. All right, not a problem, Marcel. There you go. Okay, you don't know yet? Okay. All right. All right, so we got some B's, we have some A's. Just guessing? Okay. Well, here's my thing. I'm here to break things down. Okay, that's why I'm here. I just want to see what you guys can do, what you feel confident in sharing. This is non-judgmental. Because I was the same person. I used to suck at math, and now look at me. I'm using it as a career. That's God right there, because I did not choose that. I did not choose that at all. I was the kid that they pulled in the corner and gave a whole bunch of worksheet problems to say, do this. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to do this. But they wanted to label me special ed. But how can you label me special ed when I haven't been experienced with something? But here we are. Okay, you're trying to pass your that? Yep. Go to my final exam. I was somewhere. All right, so we got some B's. A lot of people with the B's. Hello, C Black. How are you? Okay, Megathus. So let's do this real quick. So we have our first 2 terms. We're going to group them together, hence the name group. And let me zoom in just a little bit so we don't have to be guessing. So right now, where'd my little paper go? I'm going to cover up the first parenthesis so we can focus on our second parenthesis, or our very first parenthesis. So we're basically finding the GCF twice. Well, technically 3 times altogether. So for this parenthesis, what is my GCF? Okay, for the 3 and the 6, what do they have in common? Okay. All right, Cookie, I got you. Good. Bunch of 3s. Bunch of 3s, 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 3s. Good. Excellent. So I'm going to put it down here to give myself some room. Now, for the x's, they both have x's. So remember the little trick I told you. Always go for the lowest one. Yes, J-O. Yes, Jenny. Okay, Yep, because that's going to be the 3's. Good. C black, I see you. Good. X squares with the 2's. Good. I see you guys. Excellent job. All right. So this is going to be my GCF of this parenthesis. So now I'm going to take that GCF and I'm going to use it. I'm going to divide it with the original so I can figure out what's going to go inside of its parenthesis. So 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. Don't have to put it down because I'm going to have x cubed and I'm going to have x squared. So when you're dividing, you are subtracting the exponents. So here's an x. Okay. A negative divided by a positive. When the signs are opposite, your answer is always negative. Now 6x squared divided by 3x squared. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. And the x squared divided by x squared, anything divided by itself is 1. So we don't need it. Okay, going to the other side. So we have a positive. So when it leads, whatever sign it leads with, that's what we're putting down here. So now 4x and 8, what do they have in common? All right, big boy Bobby, good job. Very nice and nice, very nice. Okay. Good, we got some 4's. 2's can work, but we want the greatest common factor. Okay, so the greatest common factor that both 4 and 8 have is 4. So think about it, because I'm starting to see a lot of 2's there. Okay, ways that I can get 4. I can get 4's in the 1 times table, the 2 times table, and the 4 times table. I can get an 8 in the 1 times table, the 2 times table, the 4 times table, and the 8 times table. So which factor? Yeah, they both have 2's, they both have 1's, but the greatest common factor is 4. Okay, so we're going to factor out that 4. And it's not 4x because that 8 doesn't have an x. Okay, so that means we're going to divide everything inside of this parenthesis by 4. So 4x divided by 4, that gives me x. And negative 8 divided by a positive 4, that gives me a negative 2. Okay. All right. Okay. So bringing the way that I figured it was going to be x squared, because I'm not sure if it came in later, is that you always go with the lowest exponent. So if I think of it this way, x cubed means x times x times x. X squared is x times x. How many groups of x's do they have in common? They have 2. So that's how I got my x squared. But the shortcut of it is if they both have x's, always take the one with the lowest exponent. Okay. All right. Okay. Got you. Okay, makes sense? All right, beautiful thing. So now, let me lower this down so we can focus right here. We're almost done. What do you notice? Okay. So what do we notice? There you go, Jenny. There you go, Goody. There you go. Is that Cheryl? Cheryl? There you go. All right. The limit doesn't exist. There you go, Secret Square. I see you. All right. So, Baby J. There you go, Braden. Good. Good. Bree Hill. Good. There it is. Okay, sure. Okay, Cheryl. So, inside, right here, my parentheses are exactly the same. So, remember when I said we're going to do the GCF basically 3 times? Okay, the first time came with the first parenthesis. The second time came with the second parenthesis. Now we're finding it one more time. So what they have in common is my x minus 2. So since I know that's going to be in common, I factored those out. So now what remains are going to be the factors of the second parenthesis. So we have 3x squared plus 4. So now we want to see, once you got that x minus 2, let's look at our options. That. All right, let's see where we got x minus 2. X minus 2, we got it for b. All right, once we complete it, we got our 3x squared plus 4. We got 3x squared plus 4. That's my answer. So if you're doing the GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, okay, once you start seeing factoring, you're clearly above that 31. Okay, you are clearly above that because it goes with basic algebra. Then it goes to distance, rate, and times formula, a lot of those word problems. After you do those, they start doing more equations, like finding slope, finding the equation of the line, system of equations, right? And then they'll build up on the algebra 2 parts. They'll build up on area, circumference, perimeter. Then they start doing more of the factoring. Then after they do the factoring, now they're doing the systems of inequalities, their systems of equations. Then they're working on volumes. Once you see volume, you're doing really well. You're like in the late 60s, early 70s. So depending on what career you want to pursue, if you want to get well above that 31, you need to brush up on some things. And I'm going to be truthful. If you don't understand your multiplication, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because guess what? You can't do these exams. The GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, you cannot have a calculator with you. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. So you have to do a lot of mental math. So you're probably going to have to brush up on your multiplication in order for you to get that. All right? Yeah. Okay, so we learned this, right? But see, you got to think about it. That's how they divide and conquer. Okay, so that's, if you want to beat the system, that's how you do it. Beat them by knowing your multiplication. Remember, multiplication is nothing but fast addition. All right, and remember, you're only going to be given, especially ASVAB, basically 1 minute per question. So they really want to kind of rush on to you. Okay? Sure. Okay, so that was the original problem. Now, for right now, I'm going to have to skedaddle because I do have another person to tutor. But if anything, don't forget to follow me here. If you're not following me yet, go ahead and follow me. I appreciate it. If I do have a little bit of time, I might come a little bit later on tonight. Because then I'll show a little bit of some of the resources that I have, especially my new workbooks that I have designed for people that are taking their GED, the ASVAB, and the ACCUPLACER. So a lot of the similar questions that they have seen and presented in those exams. And I'm probably going to, I know I'm going to be on here tomorrow, and definitely on Sunday. Sunday I have to worry about a time, but we'll figure it out. All right, so go ahead and follow me. You can also give me some time because if you go to my YT channel, okay, I'm going to put up my little sign that I usually have, and then I got to get going. So if you go to my YT, okay, not saying white, but YT channel, okay, and this is the channel itself. Okay, I usually have a playlist that says TikTok Lives, and it's a collection of all of my TikTok Lives since February 2nd of last year. So you know I got some stuff. And some of them are like really focused, like say for factoring. Some of them are focused on the 4-point type of questions that you're going to find on the GED. Some of them are focused on the higher questions that you'll see on ASVAB and some more of the word problems. Some of them are just like random collections of questions just to spark your interest and almost use as a review. So if you can, go ahead and follow me there, follow me here, and then also take a look here. I have a lot of my books and stuff there, and you can follow me there and get the latest and greatest. I should be releasing a couple more books, I'm hoping by the end of February. Okay? All right. So if you're not sure what books you want to buy, or if you have questions, please, please, please message me. Okay? That's the only way. Even if we're not Facebook, even though we're not TikTok friends, make sure you message me and tell me what you're thinking. Don't just say hi, because I'm going to delete it, because that's what most of the scammers are doing right now. Okay? Okay, you be on Algebra Watch? All right, cool. Hello, Ashanti. How are you? All right, so if you need me, just go ahead and message me. Be on the lookout. I might be back on later on tonight, but I'm not sure. Okay, it all depends on how long my tutoring sessions are. Okay, well, have an amazing day. Again, I'll probably see you guys tomorrow if I'm not on tonight. And just be safe, and I will talk with you soon. All right, take care. Bye now.